That's my bad. Anyway, alright, so let's just get back into it. So, like I was saying, basically, I'm going to be doing something at the start of each of the streams. I'll be spoilering a card that is coming out in one of the new sets. So here, this is a card from Guardians of Guana. It's Respected Commander, and I'll be. Can you hear me? I can turn down the music volume a bit. All right. Anyway, so like I was saying, the uh, this card is a new good champion that costs a gold. It's unbanishable when you play it. If you have to, can you reel two other good cards from your hand? You get to draw two cards, and then whenever this card would take damage, you can take the damage instead of the champion taking the damage. So even though it has 3 health or 3 defense, it probably won't die to things like 3 damage. So you can take the small amounts of damage, or if your opponent plays something like Kong and deals 13 damage to it, you have to decide whether you're going to take the 13 or you're going to lose their respective commander. But at the end of the day, it's still a unbanishable champion that draws you 2 cards in good. So basically, it's still going to be an establishing champion in any case, just like Gudgeon, T-Rex, and that kind of thing. So what I'm going to do is, if anybody has an alignment that they would like to see for the next spoilered card, they can just post that in the chat, and if I don't get any alignments, then I'll just pick one, but otherwise, send it away. What would you like to see? Alright, but yeah, so that concludes our Evil or Sage. Alright, we haven't done very many Evil spoilers, so I'm thinking the next one will probably be Evil then. So that concludes the spoiler section for today. I'm just going to be getting into some games here. But next stream will be on Friday, and I'll be spoiling another card, and it sounds like that one will be evil. In the meantime, I'm going to get in some games here of digital. So the arena is the same as it was on Friday. It's Dark Draft. So I'm going to be playing a combination of arena and quick matches with pretty much whoever I find here. So we're going to pick out a deck to play. I think last time we were playing this trampoline deck, I think it did pretty well. Overall, I think I'm pretty satisfied with it. Don't really feel like we need to get more games in with that. So I might just pick one of these other decks that we started last time. I think there was another deck, right? Anyway, I'll probably just start with something like, we'll go with a deck that we haven't played in a while. So maybe this token deck that we had that was 4 colors. What we'll do is we'll take this and we will see if we can add some of the new cards from duels to this deck. Alright, that one's going to be junk tokens, so we're just going to go ahead and jump into a quick match here. We had... Alright. And basically what I do here is I just go into a quick match, so it could be Dark Draft, Constructed, or Random 30, and whatever the opponent picks. And it's a real-time game. If I want to, if someone hops into the arena here, then it'll notify me and I can just queue up against them. But basically, one thing that I like to do, and I've mentioned this on stream before, is if you have a deck that you want to try out, you can actually play versus the AI. There's a burn deck that the AI can pilot. I mean, it's a pretty linear deck, so basically the game's going to end pretty fast, right? You're either going to die, or you're going to defeat the AI, or you're going to stabilize. And usually, if you stabilize, because you'll be gaining health, and the AI will be trying to draw more cards, basically. We're just going to go ahead and pilot this against the burn deck so I can give you an example of what this deck's all about here. And basically what we're trying to do with this deck is, it's all of the alignments, but we're just trying to synergize the different token cards. So basically, we're playing cards like Inheritance the Meek here. I'm just going to take some damage here. Alright. Playing cards like Inheritance the Meek that you can play in any color. So we're not really running color restrictive cards, or we're running cards that it's okay if you don't have a loyalty twos for. And we're just doing that in all 4 of the colors. So sometimes we're just running good stuff, like Second Wind and Watchful Gargoyle aren't really related to tokens, but they help us survive until we can get something crazy going on. Otherwise, probably our biggest cards here are going to be Justice Prevails, which gives all of our 0-cost champions, which includes tokens, +3 offense, and then we also gain health when they deal damage this turn. So that's usually going to be something like a 20 health gain if our opponent doesn't have some kind of board wipe. And Inheritance the Meek is also just a really good board wipe in this deck because we keep all of our tokens and we banish all of our opponent's champions. Usually, that's the plan. We've also got Savage Uprising here, which doesn't hit 0-cost champions. And we have a couple of other cards. Like Rift Summoner can break one of our human tokens to make 2 demons. So even though this doesn't inherently reference human tokens or tokens in general, it just works really well if you have lots of small ones. Anyway, we're being attacked for 6 here, so probably just going to take it and make some human tokens here. We're going to draw 2 just in case we draw 0. I'm not sure what we could have drawn, but maybe if I drew something like a Wolf's Bite, anyway, some combination of zeros that could take that down. But we're just going to take the damage here. Now, what's really nice is we have these Savage Uprisings, so we can punish a play where the opponent has multiple 1-cost champions before blocks. And generally, when you have more than 1 copy of a card in your hand, you want to try and use those first, since Epic tends to bottleneck you on which play you're making. You can't play everything out of your hand in 1 turn. So having multiple copies of a card is usually redundant. Alright, so we're going to take that. Our champions are going to go away. We know that these 2 cards are revealed now. So the way Loyalty 2 works, showed us these 2 cards from hand. And the Fire Shaman's free, but the Smash and Burn here, basically, this is probably going to be our opponent's play next turn. So we're just going to go ahead and get rid of that so we don't take 9. And that also is nice because it uses up another one of our Savage Uprisings. Alright. Yeah, I mean, I think we just make the demons here. We don't have a loyalty 2, but this card's generally here just to draw, just to make a bunch of big champ tokens. Alright. They also have Savage Uprising. It's interesting, you can also use it as a burn card, so some decks will play this just for the deal 5 damage to the opponent drop card mode. Don't use it for the second mode. Alright, once ending their turn here, we'll just keep drawing cards. Usually you want to be at 7, unless you're going to make a really strong play. I'm just going to Second Wind. I want to use my discard pile in case it gets banished. So we'll get rid of the Savage Uprising and the Urgent Messengers, because it leaves 1 of each in our discard pile in case we need them later. I'm going to go ahead and Wolfspite this now, because it represents at least 3 damage to us. still know about that Savage Uprising in hand. So, yeah, we're just going to pass here. They definitely have a play to make, so it's not like... I suppose I could have gone for the Avenging Angel and just hoped that my opponent had nothing. But not really necessary. Again, here, we can just start our turn. They have a green gold, so basically, in the minimum case scenario, I suppose, as in the least bad for us would be them just playing Smash and Burn. So us playing a card for them to draw to is generally bad because they're so low on cards that they're going to be bottlenecked on gold here, not cards. So we're just going to try and set up something like this Drain Essence or this Avenging Angel. So I'm going to go ahead and attack in with my Demon Token. Pretty close to lethal, so it doesn't really matter. Alright, they're just going to go for the Smash and Burn. That's fine. This means our Avenging Angel is going to be very good here. We might just have it, honestly. We have another 6 here. So I guess we're 2 off. That's a little unusual. Now, I've talked about Avenging Angel before. It's probably one of my pet cards because it just does a lot in one turn. It has that very high ceiling, right? Best case scenario, you deal 6 damage to them, you gain 6 health, and they have to remove it on their turn. So you're forcing them to spend their gold first, which is very strong. I'm just going to make a blocker here. We got Nerds to make. Slide 2. Alright, they have 2 Fires of Rebellions. That means that they have to play Fires of Rebellions next turn, which means that we should just be able to win if we have enough champions to play. You have to draw something off the Fires of Rebellion that solves this situation. Yeah. I mean, I guess I could just play Rain of Fire, but oh well. Sometimes I just forget about counting up lethal, honestly. Alright, that'll be game. So yeah, I mean, I think if you can play against Burn, and it doesn't seem like you get run over, seems like your deck's doing something with itself, then you've got something there. That's basically how I go about deck building. I mean, I've talked about the core of my deck building process, which is either building around some kind of strategy or building around a specific card, or just something that I think is so dominating that if you can achieve it on a reliable basis, then you'll win. Anyway, I guess what we'll do is we'll just make a new game here, in case there's anyone else on. I know that there tends to be more people in the 48-hour queue because some people just like to do that queue. I like the real time because a lot of the time when I do this type of game mode, my opponent will leave to go do something at some point, and then I'm just stuck waiting to take my turn, and I just kind of we go back and forth for a while. But some people, they can just hop right into a game that they haven't played in a while, and they just instantly know what's going on. I can't do that. Alright, so just so you know what my mulligans were there, I kind of made them pretty spontaneously, but we're going second here, so I'm thinking that I am probably going to end up playing this Raxa on my turn to establish, so I already have a draw too, and this is also doubles as removal. I can play it to break a champion my opponent plays and give them a zombie, so it's kind of like a bitten. And so I have pretty much everything that I would consider necessary, which is a draw to and some kind of interaction in my opening hand if I'm going second. So the rest of my hands are really up to me. And I decided to go with the Avenging Angel. I kept 1. It honestly was probably a mistake because I don't have an off-turn threat. So if I had something like Rift Summoner, this would be a lot more reasonable, because usually what you want to do with Avenging Angel is you play an off-turn threat on your turn, you attack or do something with your off-turn threat and then pass without spending your gold. So your opponent reacts and they get rid of your on-turn threat, the one you played on their turn. And that's an opportunity for you to just get in with Avenging Angel shields down. I could just go on and on about Avenging Angel. Well, I'll just hop back into this cube because it's possible Drew-wise is, just anything else. So what I'll do is I'll just queue this up right here, and then we're going to make edits to it. Basically what I'd like to do is kind of modernize this. I think I just had the same deck list right here. So what I'm going to do is just skipped it. There it is. What I'm going to do is just copy this deck list, and then I'll go over to the blank one, and we'll make changes to it and make a new deck for it. We'll call this something like junk tokens improved. Very creative. Alright, so basically we have some new duels cards, right? So what we want to do is probably start with this core deck and then say, what cards do we want to add from duels? So sometimes I like to start from the beginning. I think in this kind of deck, where it's more of a good stuff type of deck, just playing through the archetype, you can trim and then add in cards very easily. So we'll just go ahead and look at just duels. And I mean, just popping out of me right away is Immobilize here. Make 3 human tokens for 0. That seems pretty good in a token-oriented deck. We also have an evil token buffer. This one gives all of your evil champions +3 offense, +3 defense, and gives you a demon token with blitz. We also have a couple of 0-1s, so this one gives you a demon token with blitz, and your evil champions gain +1/+1 this turn. Champion of the Wicked gives your evil champions +1/+1. This would be kind of a different strategy, these three, because I have a lot of cards that aren't evil. They're just generic, wolf tokens, human tokens, that kind of thing. Flanking Maneuver is probably a great card in this deck, right? It gives us a wolf token. It lets us pump one of our other wolf tokens, and if not, we can pump the wolf token we made, and we draw 2 cards. So we can do that. We can take out the Mighty Blow probably, and honestly, we'll probably get these Rain of Fires. I think that the Flanking Maneuver will work very well with the Hunting Pack, because we'll just have more wolves, basically. And then, I'm just going to say this real quick. It should be in the first page here. Yeah. Alright, where was I? So, something like Howl, there are cards that make tokens, but that we don't necessarily want in this type of deck. Like when I'm looking at a card like Howl, for me, the main effect is actually the second one. It's the boost. Making 2 wolf tokens is not bad. Sometimes, if there's nothing in play, it's great, right? You just get to start attacking your opponent and putting pressure on them. But a lot of the time, making 2 wolf tokens will just be blocking 2 attacks. So usually we want our 0 cost cards to be a little bit better than that. We are going to skim through these real quick. Do we have any good champions? You just have Avenging Angel. We could play something like Knight of Glory to give 2 of our tokens a boost this turn. Could be pretty good. Could play something like Lake Lane, which is a board wipe, or we can banish all champions with it. Subjugate, which banishes all champions with 7 or more defense. I don't know if we even have any, so it seems very good in our deck. We'll probably end up playing that. So right now, I actually really like where our good is. So I think I'm just going to cut this last Rain of Fire here. And I think I like this better than Savage Uprising. So we'll go down to Savage Uprising. So we just went down, or we'll go all the way down. Now we're going down 4 ones, put on 2 zeros. And then we'll go ahead and add in these subjugates here. We have one more good 1-cost card, so let's just try out Knight of Glory here. And then in addition, we have 2 new zeros to add. So it'll probably just be mobilized. We'll give this a shot. See if those human tokens really make a difference for us. Alright. Aside from that, I mean, I think things are looking pretty good. Definitely nothing that I immediately want to change. I really like the one-off Plentiful Dead because in grinding matchups you can just keep getting a lot of value out of it. But you don't ever want 2 of these in your hand just because most of the time it's not going to do that much, right? It's just there so that you have an out versus those grindy decks. This is even the kind of deck that we could make good, right? There's already enough good that we could make it more of a good deck, but I think that the theme of it being more of a junk tokens is actually more freeing. It just lets us try out different combinations of cards. Like we have our human tokens, and then we can also wave transformation to get rid of our opponent's stuff and also upgrade our tokens, right? So yeah. I can even go as far as to just do this. I will go up against the burn again, but this time with our new deck. See if the subjugate. So we added subjugate, we added mobilize, we added. There's also that card that gives puts a wolf token into play, draws 2 cards, and gives a wild champion +2 offense, +2 defense. And we cut a bunch of our wild cards, basically. And we added 1 copy of the 1-cost card that makes 2 of your champions give +6 offense this turn. So that'll be more of an aggressive card. So the opponent's going first here, so we definitely want an off-turn play that draws 2 cards and removal. So we'll just use the. I honestly prefer the Zombie Apocalypse here for 2 reasons. If the opponent plays a champion, I'd much rather Zombie Apocalypse than Inherent's the Meek. This one gives them a zombie token. This one they draw a card. I'd much rather they get the zombie. We probably don't need multiple board wipes in our hand. And it also means that we're more likely to be able to activate Rax's Loyalty too, which isn't generally our intention in this deck because we don't have many evil cards, but if it happens, it's gravy. We're going to take out the Watcher Gargoyle here because it has Recycle. So use the discard pile. We don't usually want to keep cards in our hand that use the discard pile. Alright, it's Fire Shaman, and we're going to take 3 from that. And we're just going to see the 1, which means that if they have more wild cards in hand, they're choosing not to show them. Alright. So I think what we're going to do here is just play the Zombie Apocalypse and then Inherent's the Meek on our turn. So draw 2 now, and then we'll play the Inherent's just as a board clear, just as an old-fashioned board clear. Finish all. Yeah, it's possible to complete multiple quests with 1 deck. I could do something like that actually. Let's see. So they just drew 2, so we're just also going to draw 2. We only have 1 way to do that. We're actually going to Second Wind first. And so for those of you who haven't played on the Epic app recently, there is now an undo feature. So as long as you do something that doesn't give you information, and I'm drawing a lot of cards here, so it's not useful. But let's say I play this and I make my 2 demons, right? I might say, you know, actually, go back. You just keep going back as much as you want, up until the last time that you gain information, like when you drew cards, or when you revealed things to your opponent, or they revealed things to you, or pass. Basically, if your opponent makes a decision, you can't go back on that because you get information from that. But we are just going to play this and make 2 demons. We're not going to loyal to 2, of course, because there's nothing to hit with it. Take down our Rex, it looks like. Alright, that sounds good. Looking out for us. Just attacking. This Steward Drain Essence really comes in handy. I think if I didn't have anything in play, Hunting Pack would be great here, because it would give me a board, so I could start attacking next turn and set up something for this Avenging Angel. That's like what I'm talking about when I say having an off-turn play that enables your Blitz champion. But we also have 2 Drain Essences, and the 2 Demon tokens is a pretty big threat already, so we'll just go for this. Now, we don't need to be greedy here, we can just pass. If we're doing 8 damage a turn, we win in... We basically win in 3 turns. I mean, they'll be at... even in 2 turns, if they're at 3, they'll probably lose. Just going to go ahead and take that down. So we'll play first. That draws us a card. And we're just going to draw 2. No reason to add stuff to the board. Just going to play this in case they want to banish our discard pile. We're leaving champions because we have Zombie Apocalypse in our deck. Alright, they're just resetting because they don't want to take any damage there. So this is where Avenging Angel comes in great. Get in, gain our 6. And we'll just play this. Just discard to max hand size, honestly. We really don't need... Honestly, probably don't need Drain Essence. I guess we don't need Hunting Pack or Drain Essence, we just want 1 piece of removal. But keeping Drain Essence lets us loyalty to the Rift Summoner, so we'll discard the Hunting Pack. Alright. Usually if your opponent passes to you and you're ahead, you just want to take the pass and start your turn right away. Unless you know something really fishy is happening. Counter that with our Wolfspite. Alright. Not that it's really necessary, but could use the cards while you can. In this instance, just because it's lethal, I'm going to go for a Knight of Glory here. Might as well. Basically, we're going to have to discard a card anyway, so as this has to be answered. And if it's not answered, they die. So might as well just go for it here. And if it is answered, we don't lose any cards in hand because passing means we would discard a maximum hand sets anyway. So yeah, I think that went well. I'll just go through an example of how I might build a deck to do a quest here because I'm not finding very any people online. Alright, so let's say I want to do... we'll go ahead and do one of these more esoteric ones. Like, we'll do play a game with 3 Winds of Change and 3 Battlecry in your deck. Alright? Pretty straightforward. So we're just going to go ahead and strip out... Oh, probably just going to strip out one of these early decks. Do anti-wilds. That was a mistake. Their wild was not a success, I'll tell you that much. Alright, we're gonna call this group pump. I don't know. Maybe Winds of Battle. Those are 2 cards that are being used for worse names. Alright, so we're just going to go ahead and do this first. Winds of Change. Battlecry. Now, there's one thing about both these cards. and that is they both give our team a boost, and they both give our team breakthrough. They also have these situational other modes. You can play Battle Cry on your opponent's turn to draw 2. You can play Winds of Change on a single champion to draw a card, and the Winds of Change is permanent, the Battle Cry is temporary. So, sure, you could just play these cards in another deck. You could just shove those 6 cards in a deck and say, well, you know, they're being played. But I think the real fun of it is trying to build around these. So, what we want, I think, are actually really large champions that aren't normally evasive. What I mean by that is we want to play things like Kong. If we have 2 Kongs out, let's just say, right, and then we play our Winds of Change, then now we attack with Kong. Gets blocked by a human token, we Winds of Change. Now I have to stop the Kong that's already blocked with a card. They also have to stop your other Kong that's going to attack, or they'll be taking something like 17 each. Maybe they've already just been planning to chump block it. Actual name. I don't even know who you are anymore. Yeah, I know. I did give it an actual name. I'm adapting. Yeah. It's interesting. They should just need to be wolf cards. I mean, if you click on a card, I guess you can't really see it here. Yeah, but I mean, anything that says a wolf on it should be a wolf card. So Hunting Pack should count as a wolf card. Wolfspite should count as a wolf card. Um, there's the Duels card that makes a wolf token as a wolf card as well. But also some of them, it might be something like play, win, or play a game, depending. Like it might usually, I think maybe the alignment ones might be win, and the uh, specific card ones might just be play. I'm not sure off the top of my head. Yeah. Yeah, it should be 8 or more wolves, so you should be good. Alright. We're going to go ahead and continue this deck process. So we're just going to play some big champions here that are pretty solid on their own. That's the thing, when you're building around a card or a concept, you want to make sure that the cards that you are adding and the cards that you have, they're not just going to be garbage when you don't have some specific combo, right? You don't want to place let me just pick a card here that would not be good in this deck. I don't want to toss Burrowing Worm in because if I attack with Burrowing Worm and then Winds of Change it, then that'll be a lot of damage. You want to, because if I just drew Burrowing Worm by itself, I would not be very happy. That's not a perfect example, but let's say Surprise Attack, right? Let's say we already have Surprise Attacks in this deck, because probably will. So it lets you play a champion off turn, basically, even if it doesn't normally let you play it off turn. So maybe Burrowing Worm's really great with Surprise Attack, but by itself, it's not very good. So really, when you're putting cards in your deck, you want them to be good most of the time, or synergize with your game plan, or just be good cards on their own, things that you can rely on. So Raging T-Rex, I wouldn't want to put into a deck that didn't have very many wild cards because it would be pretty situational that I would actually get anything more than beefy 0, basically, right? 12-10, biggest 0 is a 9-7, so that is pretty close. You don't want to get hit by either. Alright, so we're just putting in 1-cost cards that are big. That's our game plan right now. Play Scaros, depends on how many of these we end up with. It's also not bad to have things that make lots of champions if they're also efficient. So we'll go ahead and we'll play Hunting Pack and things that synergize with Hunting Pack, just because boosting everything is going to be stronger if we just have random junk lying around, as I call it. So yeah, we can play the Duels card that puts Wolf token into play and draws 2 cards. If I can find it, it's my King Maneuver. Play Wolfspite. We'll come back to that in a second. Maybe our last card here will just be Brachiosaurus because we have a lot of wild cards. Alright, so this might be a simple core. We don't have any Punishers in here, but I think this is pretty good. not normally, there's a lot of cards that I would normally play in this deck that I'm not necessarily doing here because we're doing a specific strategy. I'm going to go over to wild zeros here and fill those out. So I have 24 wild ones, so I want to have half as many zeros. Can't have more than that. So for 12, that means I'll be picking 4 different cards. I'm going to go ahead and pick up Wolfspite for the same reason I like those cards to make lots of other units. And it also works great with Hunting Pack because it gives us another wolf to deal 2 damage to each champion in play. And aside from that, I mean, we can play something like Rage just because we have a lot of big champions that don't have Breakthrough. Play Lash, play some flat Feeding Frenzies, and then Feeding Frenzies are nice here because we have small champions that get blocked by things. And then we can just do something like Flame Spike as our last. That'll be a way for us to finish off our opponent. It'll also be a way to activate our Feeding Frenzies. Or get rid of small blockers so that we can attack with their big things. Alright, so we have a deck list here. I'm just going to save it. And let's go ahead and add a second color in. It could make this all wild. That being said, I think a lot of the time it's pretty nice to just do a second color and take advantage of the fact that a lot of cards just don't require certain card counts. So what we can do here is I normally would do Sage here and I'd pick some untargetable champions, so I'm going to do something a little different. We'll go over to probably going to be good. We'll do good. And we can play Urgent Messengers. So this will be a little bit similar to that deck that we had before with the tokens. But we're not going all in. We're not going to play Justice Prevails or Inherits the Meek, for example. And go ahead and play Noble Unicorn if we have enough of these. Just random good cards. I like to play Noble Unicorn. It's just a good way to refill your hand. It's like Rage GX. And then we'll go ahead and run some kind of health gain champions. So I'm kind of thinking Angel of the Gate. I'm not positive on that. You know, what we can do is you can make this a Breath of Life deck. So Breath of Life lets you return a good champion from a discard pile to play, and if it's your turn, you get 2 humans. If it's their turn, they get 2 humans. Card's great with when you get to use it on your own thing, and then your humans are useful in some capacity. So we'll go ahead and make it a Breath of Life deck. We'll just put lots of good champions in at this point. We'll play. We'll put Marcus in just because a lot of people are running Thought Pluckers right now. So this will be kind of a counter to Thought Plucker in those type of decks. If they make us discard a card, we'll just discard this. And then we can have some removal here with our Palace cards. They're also nice because we'll play them for removal early, and then they'll be in play for the big boost turn later on. And right now we have 24, so we want 16. So we're just looking for one more good card here. It looks like we don't really have any Punishers, so it makes sense for us to toss in a Blitz champion of some kind. At least one. So I think what I'm going to do is just play Avenging Angel, to be honest. Because it's some health gain, and it's great when it's boosted. Might even cut Breath of Life down to 2, because we won't always have a target for it. And Marcus down to 2, because if we get 2 of these in our hand, it will feel kind of bad. And then we can go up to 3 Avenging Angels. Alright, and that'll be our 1 costs for the deck. We'll just go ahead and look at our freeze here. So since we have 16-1 good cards, then we want to have 8 zeros. Probably going to play Faithful Pegasus on us. So we have a lot of humans, right? Could be good. Could run Mobilize because we have a lot of ways to take advantage. You know, Battlecry and Winds of Change can both pump up all of our humans. Alright, I think we're just going to finish this up another time. I'll take my turn up against Drew Eyes now. Alright. Let's see where we're at. So, I drew 2 cards, and Drew Eyes decided not to mulligan anything. So, Drew Eyes passed immediately. and that means that we're also going to pass. If your opponent passes and they have their gold up, it's just an empty board, you almost always want to start your turn. Which is great because we have a great establishment play. So we're just going to make some demon tokens, and we just get 18 offense in play for our gold. Great use of gold. And now we've set it pretty well. We can Rain of Fire on their turn if we need to get rid of some small things like Thought Plucker, that kind of thing. And we can enchant if not only is it a draw to, but it's also great against things like Thought Plucker. So if our opponent played Thought Plucker right now, we would just discard this ancient chant, and then we could recall it later and effectively draw 3, right? Because our hand size would increase by 2. All right, so we both spent our gold. Drew, I started their turn. Our golds are back. Kind of expecting some kind of board wipe here. Usually decks that run Ancient Chant are actually more like control decks. They don't usually, not usually fast. So if our opponent's not aggressive and they didn't have an on-turn play, that means their hand is probably very reactive. They have a lot of ways to interact with my place. So they probably have some kind of board clear in hand. That looks like a Burrowing Worm. So I will draw 2. What's funny is we can actually group attack with 3. Just see what happens. That might be the play. Because that would be, if you attack with 3, it'll be attacking for 18. So if this gets removed, right, we'll be attacking for our 8. That goes down to 10. Then we just Avenging Angel attack. I guess if it gets removed for 0, it's bad, but it's pretty unlikely that that's going to get removed for 0. We don't have a good follow-up if we don't make this attack, and then they play something that removes my stuff. So I think I'm just going to go for it here. Do a massive group attack here. The reason I'm doing this is they either take 18, or if they block, then all champions will trade here, because we'll have the 18 for their defense, and they'll get to split up the 18 however they want among my champions, which will take out all 3. But like I said earlier, I'd really like to use one of these Avenging Angels because I have 2 in hand. So as long as I have 2 in hand, one of these is basically dead because it doesn't do anything as long as I have the other one. Alright, this is looking good already. We're going to spend a bunch of cards. Get rid of my stuff, that's fine. They recycled away their Ancient Chance, so they drew an extra card. Which means I get to just come in here with this Avenging Angel. This is what I'm talking about. This is where Avenging Angel really shines. This is where you can just get your opponent to spend their gold first. Maybe you even set it up so that if they spend their gold first, it's so good for them, right? And it was. They spent a gold and a 0 cost recycle. And they took out my whole board. And they still have this gigantic champion in play. I'm not going to second wind here because I like having the Ancient Chant in the discard pile, and it would also mean I get one less. Champion if I end up playing the Zombie Apocalypse I have in my hand. Zombie Apocalypse breaks all champions, then each player gets a zombie token for each champion in the discard pile. So I would get 2, and right now if I played it, Drew Eyes would also get 2 because we both have 2 champions in play plus our discard pile. So Spore Beast here, it removes a champion from combat. So basically, as long as this is here, I can't really attack profitably. I mean, it'll just attack and then they'll remove from combat, but they also can't attack. That's what I really love about Avenging Angel is it forces your opponent to basically deal with your stuff before they attack. And that means I can play this Zombie Apocalypse and I'm not shields down. We know two of the cards in hand. There's a Smash and Burn here and a Burning Worm. So they might get greedy and try and Smash and Burn a zombie token next turn, which would be great for us because we have another Avenging Angel. So ideally what would be happening for us. I don't think there's anything super relevant that we would draw here, so I'm not going to use the Recycle yet. It's fine. Just let these trade, and then I'll play the second wind. We'll see if we can draw a real play. If we don't draw a real play, we'll just pass. We have a pretty reactive hand, I would say. So gain the 5, and we'll just get rid of the Zombie Apocalypse. Let's just say Avenging Angel because we have another one in hand. And then we'll just pass here. I suppose maybe drawing a card would have been great because I would have just gained 10 potentially there. I think that's Justice Prevails. But if we pass here and then Drew Eyes also passes back to us on Drew Eyes' turn, we'll just play this Word of Summoning and get our Demon token so we can just start hitting for 4. But if we left those zombie tokens in play, Drew Eyes would probably, when I attack the demon, block with the zombie, play Smash and Burn. That is Burrowing Worm. That's fine. Honestly, Burrowing Worm is not too scary. You just kind of have to deal with it at some point. I mean, sometimes you can just make enough stuff that doesn't matter. But that definitely does not always happen. Ooh, I might have a spicy play here. What we're going to do is run out this Avenging Angel just to force our opponent to answer it. And then I can Justice. Ooh, Inherits the Meek too. Inherits the Meek might be too good to pass up. Just banishes that, and then we get to keep all of our stuff. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I guess we don't have enough anyway. I mean, if I block with everything, it's not bad because I could do something like Wolf's Bite and then block with all of them, and then Justice Prevails when they attack. But if they have a way to clear all of our stuff, then I just take 18, which is pretty bad. So it's dangerous. I'm just going to do that, and then I'm going to pass here. So I could attack. I don't think the 6 damage is worth it. If I attack with, say, with the human token or demon token, and they just have a champion play they're going to make anyway, then they get to eat my token for free. But if they... so what I'm doing here is I'm saying, oh, if you want to start your turn, lose your gold, you can gain the 6 health for free. The card advantage from having the tokens in play over many turns is more important. Alright, that's fine. We are going to be going for Justice Prevails. It may backfire, but so far so good. Definitely not going to attack here. Let's see. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We're going to do something very exciting here. Oh man. This is a ridiculous play here. All of our champions get plus or plus 3 in Righteous this turn. So right now, if nothing happens, we're just going to gain 14, 18, 22, 27 health. And take down this Burning Worm with our junk tokens. That's the deck name right there, junk tokens. That's what's happening. It's all coming together. On the block. We'll gain 27 on the block. Oh man. Feels good. What's really funny, right, is if Drew Eyes could take out their own Burrowing Worm to stop me from gaining the health. Because the health happens when the fight happens. It looks like that's exactly what they're doing. We needs to remove Burrowing Worm. They get 2 tokens. That's fine, I guess. We're just gonna Araxis Curse so that we have an ongoing threat. So I'll Araxis Curse now, and then on my turn I can just attack for 4. And I'm already putting pressure. Jump change. I like that. Like chump change. Just get in here. Probably just gonna get in for 4 and then we'll pass, honestly. I really don't need to push it. I don't really have a play I can make that would push it. I have a very reactive hand. I have the removal. Oh, perfect. That's even better. Now we get to pass here, and now they're forced to either do the thing that takes out my demon token or let my demon token heal up. They're probably going to Wolf Spite. Just because they've already played one, I think. Or Flame Spike. They Flame Spiked, so maybe they're going to Flame Spike here. Oh, sweet. This is why it's dangerous to spend your gold on your opponent's turn when their gold's still up. Because you can just immediately play a Blitz Champion and punish them for it. They are really trying to make this Burrowing Worm work, though. It's possible. There's a new card coming for this archetype. One of the new sets that lets you that would give you another way of getting out this Burrowing Worm faster. Alright. And so we drew a card there because our discard pile got banished and we had an ancient chance. And that leaves our discard pile. We draw a card. And this is their turn. They just smash and burn because they had no way to remove my Avenging Angel. Feels pretty good. So what we're going to do is just deal 5 to them and draw a card because we don't need to add anything to the board. Kind of be useless to do so. This makes it so the number of cards in their hand stays the same, but we're just applying more pressure. So if they have, last time their answer was they got just a board clear. If they board clear again, we've dealt that damage for free basically. Kind of expecting this to just get smashed and burned here, which is fine. What's interesting is the Burrowing Worm does a very good job at walling these ground champions. It's just so big that I can't profitably attack with my demon tokens, and I can't use a trick to hit with my demon token and then also do something. The funny thing about Erase is that I can just replay it. But, I mean, it's better than no answer. It is a pretty cool idea. I think we could make something like this. I could help make Burrowing Worm work. And maybe that'll be the next deck that I build on upcoming Friday here. We're just going to end our turn and discard. Definitely not making these attacks. I mean, it's probably the Urgent Messengers. We have plenty of card draw in their hand. Don't need more cards in hand. So what you can do also is you can play... I mean, really the idea behind Burrowing Worm, right, is you just have these gigantic champions. Or just, if they hit, then you win. So, I mean, I think you want to go all in, right? You want to play Jungle Queen, you want to play Surprise Attack. You've got, what's it called? In there, Invoke Pact already. It's pretty good for that purpose. Just going to go ahead and wave this, I think. How many champions do we have? We have 1. They would get 2, so wave means that it's card neutral. Both get 2. And and we can play our Raxa here, and then I'll take out both of those for free. I mean, very, very good. What's also nice about Wave is it powers up our hunting pack. This deck has so many odd synergies. Oh, absolutely. But they have another Burrowing Worm anyway, so it doesn't really matter that much. Alright. We're just going to go ahead and play this Raxa first, because it deals 2 damage to each opposing champion. And I'll probably leave the Zombie Apocalypse a secret. Most relevant card in my hand. And then, like I said, we're going to pass. I could swing in here. I don't really feel the need to. I mean, if I get in for 4, I win, but also I'm in a pretty good spot. It would be a shame if I attack with this wolf token and they did something like I'm not exactly sure. I'm trying to think of something that would get rid of Raxa and the demon token, but leave the wolf tokens. But I'm struggling to come up with one. That's good. We're there. Oh, okay. They're just gonna get rid of one. Digging for answers. Let's go ahead and get our wolves in. I mean, if you're a Druwise, you definitely want to trade here because my tokens are more valuable than their tokens. We've seen throughout this game, right, that I just have so many cards that whenever I play a card, if I have a token in play, it's probably going to asymmetrically benefit me and not benefit my opponent. Like, my tokens get buffed. So I might as well just trade a token that you have for a token I have when possible. Sky Heralds. Going to find a Greyhorn Lizard. Looks like Big Breakthrough Champions is the deck. Because there's also Brachiosaurus, I think. Alright. 6. Oh, so this hunting pact is 8 because we have a wolf. So 8 plus 4 is 12. So we're just going to block this with the wolf, with the demon token. And then we will hunting pack it at the end of turn. So hunting pack puts 3 wolves, and then we deal 2 for each wolf. We already have 1. Synergy right there. I think we played against a variation of it. I think it's been improved. I definitely remember there being a Burrowing Worm deck and me being very surprised. I've been inspired now. I have to make a Burrowing Worm deck. Did not know such a thing. We're just going to go for the hunting pack now in case this wolf token gets removed somehow. I don't want to lose out on that value. Do it now, just in case they have like just a random value card, like a wolf spike or a flame spike or something they want to play on my wolf token. If they get rid of this one wolf token, I can't do that hunting pack anymore. So I'm definitely just going to do the hunting pack on my first opportunity. And now we're setting up for great Justice Prevails here. I'm going to get so much health. Probably going to Words of Summoning here as well, just to make this Justice Prevails even bigger. Even though it's a bit greedy. It's pretty greedy. That's fine though. Now we can attack with a demon token first. Well. The thing is, we really want them to spend their gold first, so I'm just going to see what happens when I start making attacks here. If these all get in, then I'll just let them all get in. That'll be 8, 12, so we can't just hit for 12. That would be, we just Rain of Fire and we win. But if they just drop an ambush champion here or something. Then we can drop the Justice Prevails. There's like variations of this deck. You play Demonic Uprising, which each player breaks all of their champions, and they get a demon token with Blitz for each champion that they lost. So if I played Demonic, I could attack with all my things, and then play Demonic Uprising, and I would get 5 demons, and they would get 2. So I'd get it for another 12. It's really good also as a sort of counter against Wave of Transformation, Martial Law, Zombie Apocalypse. Pretty much any board wipe that gives you a bunch of tokens that you can't use right away, you can just slam the Demonic Uprising and just hit your opponent for 20 or however much. Alright. It's always a good sign when your opponent drain essence as a token. So here, your opponent's gold is down. I think we're just going to go for the Justice Prevails. It's probably going to be game here. Even though it's not going to actually end the game. I mean, us gaining 20 here is so big. So they have to block 1 with, I mean, if they take 15, they're at 4, so then they just add a Rain of Fire in their turn. So they probably are going to block with a Misguided Herald on 1, because 5's a lot to take. But it is a sad loss, because, okay, you get to keep the Misguided Heralds. Not bad. You still gain the 5. Could Feeding Frenzy this, but I don't really want to spend a Feeding Frenzy to get rid of a 3-2, so. Once again, just a random 3/2/2s are representing a major threat here. Because we've eliminated their big champions, and now they can't block our wolf tokens effectively. Not sure about the zombie apocalypse, I'm not going to cut that. Seems like it always gives our opponent more zombies than it gives us. Maybe zombie apocalypse is out. Just play like Plague or Reap and Sow. Breaks all champions or make 4 zombies. There's another one. This is the new one that is either put 3 zombies into play, draw a card, or break all, if it's your turn, break all champions, both players get 3 zombies. So that one could also be pretty good in this deck, because make 3 zombies, draw cards, probably pretty good for us. The Source can't draw a card because they spent their gold on the Smash and Burn, and they're passing. Interesting. Well, I think we're gonna draw 2. One thing I could also do is I could play this Rift Summoner and eat a wolf token to make 2 these demons. I think I'm gonna do that. Just get a lot of demons here. Get a lot of power here. And this will make our Justice Prevails much more threatening next turn if we want to do that. But honestly, we should just be able to swing with our tokens. If I had Inherence to Meek, I would actually have the Rift Summoner eat itself, but no Inherence to Meek to be seen. I guess we've only played 1 out of the 15 that were banished. Still not that likely to draw. So let's just play it pretty safe here, and we're going to go ahead and eat a wolf right away. The reason I'm doing that is because the Smash and Burn is in fact going to get rid of it as soon as they play a wild card, which is fine, but it's something to be aware of. And we're going to go ahead and come out with this wolf token. If they block with the Ankylosaurus, then we can Feeding Frenzy it. Or we can Rain of Fire and deal 5 to the Ankylosaurus and the other damage wherever we want. It's a win-win, really. Flanking Maneuver. Gonna make a big wolf. Alright. Just gonna get rid of our... I think we're gonna do another Justice Prevails here. We're gonna gain even more health. What's really great about this play is that we take down that wolf and our wolf survives. And then also our demon tokens are super contestable because they don't have anything big enough to block the demon token and survive. This is pretty brutal actually because we're going to be gaining so much health, but we're not winning yet. We're just we're just making it really hard to lose. Oh man. I don't normally make these big plays where you usually only Justice Prevails once. But you can definitely struggle to finish off decks. It's definitely more of a grind with this one. Because you don't have those big swingy plays. You're just chipping. Now all we need is a Kark. We do not have a Kark. Get rid of the Ankylosaurus, that's pretty nice. They're going to Spore Beast, revealing Surprise Attack and Triceratops to stop this attack. Sure. It's fine. We don't gain a 7 from that because it got removed from combat. And they revealed the Triceratops and a surprise attack, so they'll probably play Triceratops here. Another big breakthrough champion. I want to stop this banishing on my discard pile all the time, so I'm just going to use this Watchful Gargoyle to block it. Might get Spore Beasted, which is fine. Kind of expecting something like a board wipe here, but they were playing Draka's Fire, so this way if they Draka's Fire me, I can just Zombie Apocalypse them back. Or even Hunting Pack or something. First constructed deck out on stream. I'm not sure what you mean. Alright, so I think we're just taking these. I think they're going to clear the board. We just take these. Oh, yeah. Oh, man. That was ridiculous. Honestly, I don't think we have any discard pile banishment in our deck. Do we have any? We have 3 amnesias. Oh, man. This game could actually last. That's kind of funny. Kind of want to draw 2 with the Zombie Apocalypse, but we need to take these out. Maybe I just do this. This gives us an out. So if we draw Rain of Fire, if we draw Savage Uprising, we just win immediately. So let's see if we draw one of them. Do that for Zombie Apocalypse. Nope. We have 2 Feeding Frenzies, so if these get blocked, that's fine. We'll just kill them with the Feeding Frenzies. Break target damage champion. The reason we're playing this is so that when our tokens get blocked, we can just break the champion that blocked them. I wonder if it was this deck where we joked about putting 1 copy of... There was definitely one of those decks that was not intended to be a life gain deck, and there were several games where we got this over 60, and we ended up putting a Kark in, just as a one-of. More of as a joke, really. The thing about Kark in this deck is it kind of goes against that philosophy I was talking about earlier, where if you just draw it randomly, it's pretty bad. Ideally, your cards that you draw randomly are really good, or at least they have some purpose that is helpful when you're losing. Whereas Kark in this deck would be helpful when we're winning. Brachiosaurus, alright. Sure thing. Are we gonna get another surprise deck to block this other demon? That'd be pretty funny. Oh man. They might just be dead though. Oh. Should I just Hunting Pack that? I mean, I know what to play this actually. It's Wolfspite Feeding Frenzy. And I'll just Zombie Apocalypse if necessary. Oh no, they banished our discard pile. Get Zombie Apocalypse off turn. See if we just win here. We probably will just have another 0 to block it, or like a Spore Beast or something. They take 1. Oh man, this is pretty funny. Okay. Now they're down to 3. Chipping away. Alright. I think we're just going to Zombie Apocalypse off turn here. I think that is. I mean, I could double Feeding Frenzy, but they still have this big breakthrough champion. I have to stop. I don't think it's worth it. I feel like it was a different one. I'm trying to think. Maybe it was that mid-range one. The buffer mid-range deck that had Angels of Light and Angels of the Gates in it. And Avenging Angels, probably. It was just a random. It was like a deck that played. Just tried to outlast your opponent while still pressuring them. It was like the opposite of a tempo deck. Just let your opponent run out of gas and then beat them down with random 5/6 with Airborne. Thinking about doing something before attacking. I think it's pretty straightforward to just attack with the Brachiosaurus, or the Triceratops. Ooh, a group attack. That's fancy. I'm not sure why the group attack though. Well, we're just gonna do the Zombie Apocalypse now. It's kind of tempting to just watch a Gargoyle right away, just in case. But because they still have their gold up, I should really respect the fact they could have Draka or something. How many cards they have in their day? It might draw me out. This game might actually end to them drawing me out. I have 3 Amnesias in my deck, though. I'm just going to draw one of those and it'll be a feel bad. Yeah, them for 1/4 of their health. Wait till they see this Watcher Gargoyle is about to hit them for 2/3 of their health. Oh man. This is just nuts. I think there's a 0 that would give me more damage. And for 2? This game's ridiculous. That's the other thing about time games is they're non-deterministic in life. Will we get there? I think Drew Eyes is trying to evaluate whether I have buffs in my deck. The answer is no. I have no buffs, except for the Justice Prevails. I guess there's also 1 Mighty Blow. I have no idea why that Mighty Blow's in there. Oh, they're looking. Looks like it's going to be a Brachiosaurus. Mostly because it's the only 1-cost champion, and it's just better than the Ankylosaurus. You could get the Guild Demon in case you were so super worried that I was going to remove the Misguide and also buff my thing. Alright. Now the Misguide blocks here for sure, since it's going to break the end of turn anyway. And I might as well Urgent Messengers. And we have Lethal here. Just going to Wolfspite now. Since when it attacks, it'll banish a card anyway, so I won't be able to recycle if I pass to them first. So now if we get priority, we can just Rain of Fire them to death. As long as they don't gain health before they attack or something. Alright, there we go. That's the game. What a ridiculous game. Good game, Drew Eyes. Held out to the bitter end. Random inner piece. That would be hilarious. I mean, they have Drain Essences. We saw one Drain Essence. Alright, that's going to be the end of the stream. I'm going to be back on Friday. I'll be revealing another card then, and it'll be evil. In the meantime, have some epic games. See you next time.